Leonard, Peter Abide, and if I missed anybody, I apologize, but our campaign is really taken off really good, and I know others have committed. Y'all been busy with some initiatives of your own, and I would hope that you'd at least donate $5 to this cause. So with that, I'd like to yield the remainder of my time to LaWanda Jones. She's the Community Development Manager for the American Council Society on the Gulf Coast. If y'all would welcome her and give her an applause, please, LaWanda.
Thank you, Councilman Glavin, for having me here. I'm as you can tell, I'm very excited because we have 29 real men who have just propelled the Gulf Coast. And when I say propelled, we are #2 in the nation. #2 in the nation. We're going up against people in California, Pittsburgh, and Chicago, and we're #2. And then making me even more happy, because I'm very excited for Kenny, is that Kenny and Kevin both are in the top 10 of the nation. They are singing the praises, they are getting the awareness out, and they're letting know what the impact is in regards to breast cancer. And I thank all of y'all who have supported them, who are supporting this program. And I also want to let you know, and hopefully the city of Biloxi will be on board, but we are trying to host on October 15th a Power of Pink, where we're gonna celebrate and remember and honor our cancer warriors. And what we're gonna do is we want to be able to set out what they call luminaria bags on the stairs of City Hall. And simultaneously, the city of Gulfport, city of Ocean Springs will do this all on the same night from 6 to 8, and people will be able to drive by. And you'll be able to get those bags for $10. You'll be able to get the bags, and we're gonna get those bags decorated, and they're going to be displayed and have pink lights. And so it's just another thing and another way for the real men to celebrate what they're representing.
That's awesome. Mayor, can I unofficially make a motion that we support that? Okay. Mr. President, I'd like to unofficially make an motion that we support the initiative for Real Men Wear Pink on the steps of City Hall.
Did you say unofficially make a motion?
Well, unofficially or officially.
Well, if you said unofficially, you just made the unofficial motion. If you'd like to make a motion, I'd be obliged to acknowledge it when we get to the policy agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank
you.
Councilman Glavin, does that conclude your comments?
It does. Thank you.
Right. Well, we will move to citizens. I'm sorry, I had a couple comments. Did Ms. Labata, is she here tonight? Ms. Labata, if you would state your name and your position for the record for me.
Christy Labata, city engineer.
The contract for the cleanup, can you tell me about it? Did they start that today?
I did not check with Robert to see if they did or not. They told us they're going to start either today or tomorrow. I will text him right now and see if they got started, and I'll let you know for the meeting.
You sent me the locations that I requested. I got that yesterday, but I wasn't able to time to get the flyers printed to let people know what to do. Can we make sure, Mr. Mayor, that we let the people on Darwood, Rustwood, Camp Wilkes, and Trailwood rake up the rocks and the debris from that street project so the team that's coming through to pick it up can pick it up? Okay. Thank you. And now we'll move on to citizens' comments. We have 45 minutes total time allotted. That's going to be 3 minutes per person so everyone has the opportunity to speak. I'm going to start with my left-hand side or your right-hand side of the room. If you would please come to the table, state your name and address for the record, and sign in for me. If there's anyone.
Hello, my name is Sabrina May again. In the last 2 weeks that I came here, I asked for a confirmed date to meet with the, well, you told me I need to meet with my second ward mayor, which is Felix Gines. I haven't got a date. I haven't got a phone call back from the chief. I haven't got nothing, pouring out. We done had 2 more shootings in the city of Biloxi involving teenagers. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm coming up here, I'm crying, I'm trying. I'm out there, like I say, I'm walking these streets. I'm in these streets. So I'm trying to do everything I can do. I'm asking. There's no more than I can do than to ask, because I don't have the power, to do what need to be done. But as I say, the chief is here, he know, because they get the phone calls. One of them was my stepmother. Her house got shot in 17 times, and these not no regular guns. These are automatic AKs and all this. I mean, the problem is study getting worse and worse. And it's getting, as you can see on the news, all around, it's juveniles, it's kids. It's getting worse and worse. All I'm asking is that we can get a confirmed meeting and we can sit down with our councilman or our chief or whoever can come talk, come to the city, come where it needs to be. They need to be heard, need to be seen. Their presence need to be there in the community where I keep asking for, because I can't do it. But like I say, it's a big problem. And it might not matter to nobody, but it matters. These are children we watch grow up, some of them, and some of them not. They coming from different hoods. They got these gang robbers going on. They got different things going on. And when one come and shoot, the other will retaliate, and it just keep going and keep going and keep going. But if you check the records, the ages is getting younger. They going from 18, 19 to 13, 12, and further on. So therefore, I'm just saying it's a problem, and it's a problem that needs to be addressed.
I didn't catch your name.
Sabrina May.
You said May?
Yes, sir. M-A-Y.
Thank you, Ms. May. Who has your contact information?
Um,
Does Mr.
Felix Guines,
Okay, thank you.
and Chief Miller. We Facebook friends and
well,
we neighbors.
Ms. May,
He
if
has
you-
my information. Well, I can leave it.
Yes, ma'am, if you would see me, the chief, or Mr. Guines at the end, if you'd leave us your contact information.
Okay.
There you
No
go.
problem.
Thank you, Ms. May. Do I have anybody else on the left-hand side, my left hand, your right-hand side of the room? If you would, state your name and address and please sign in.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Jeremy McCarty. I would like to read a piece of literature I put off the internet. It says, on June 28, 2020, the legislature passed a bill, House Bill 1796, that will relinquish the state flag, remove the state flag from public buildings within 15 days of the effective date. So with that being said, I have a picture. As we all know, Oscar Renda has been in Biloxi for years. So I work in the construction field, so I'm guessing this is the project manager. But on this picture, I don't know how I can get y'all to see it, but I have the picture. On this particular picture, excuse me for a second, excuse me please, excuse me. The digits, it's a Ford F-150. The license plate number is JRF2606. And it's an older Caucasian male. But on the front of the truck, I'm looking for the picture. I thought I had snapshot and saved it in my favorites, but I'm trying to find it. And I thank y'all for y'all time and patience. On this picture, with the taxpayers' money, he's riding around with a rebel flag representing the city of Biloxi, with a rebel flag on the front of his truck in a predominantly black community. It's an insult, and it's also a slap in the face, and it's also very disrespectful because this flag, which was voted, I just read the bill that was passed, the removal. So they're not contracted under private money. They're contracted under the city of Biloxi's money. This needs to come off of his vehicle. This is a sign of hatred, and it's very disrespectful to the residents of Ward 2. The second thing I would like to say, and I was hearing you speak to Ms. Labata. I was hearing you speak to Ms. Labata about cleaning up, about a cleanup project. Ward 2 is in serious trouble. It's drug infested. It's gang infested. And just like Miss Sabrina May said, I also have pictures of the guns. These are not regular guns. These are what special forces soldiers have. I have an associate's degree in law and homeland security, and I went back the next year and I got my bachelor's degree in civil law in 17 months. In every quarter, I graduated on the dean's list, and I'm getting ready to pursue my degree, my Juris Doctorate. These guns, the police don't even have them. They have 50 and 100 round drums and magazines, and this is what's going on. And I feel as though law enforcement, I know that they're doing somewhat, but it's not enough. What?
Thank you.
I'm
Ms.
sorry, your
Hardy.
time is up.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else on the right-hand side of the room that would care to speak? Mr. Williams, if you would state your name and your address for the record.
Maurice Williams, Charler Lane, Ward 2. I have a few things I want to talk about. I didn't hear the community center mentioned at all this week, but I have a few questions because I don't like how it's being planned out. Frankly, somehow we managed to pick the only block in Ward 2 that already had a community center on it and decide to build a new one. I don't really see the logic behind that. These aren't fast food restaurants, they're community centers. There's no reason to really push for competition. I know there's a few other places in Ward 2 we can put them. There's space in Ward 1, which I understand why our councilman might see that as a conflict, but nonetheless, I would like to see something done. Personally, I like the Mercy Cross property. There's already a gymnasium out there. We can just do maybe a facility from the ground up. There's room to work, but I don't think the property on Lee Street is very reasonable considering there's already a community center on that block. Also, I want to know what else we're doing as far as funding. From my understanding, we only have $500,000 approved, and that's frankly laughable. $500,000 is enough for a nice house, but not a community center. So I would like to just kind of hear more about what we plan on doing as far as getting the funding for that, because we're rushing these companies to get this stuff off the property as if we're going to break the ground tomorrow. But frankly, we don't have the money or the plans to really put the community center in place. So unless there's something we're not hearing, I'd definitely like to hear a little more about that plan. And I kind of want to touch on something that was already just touched on. Actually, you told us 2 or 3 weeks ago we'd have a ward meeting, and no one's heard anything else about it. And it's starting to feel like you're really pacifying the citizens of Ward 2. We'd like to have an open dialogue with not just you, really a lot of other people, but Councilman Gons, we definitely need to have a dialogue that's open in Ward 2. You can hear people are distraught. They're upset. They're not okay with what's going on. And it feels like you're just pacifying us, to be honest. It's disrespectful, and feels like you forget that we're your boss. We vote you into that seat, and you're kind of acting like you don't care. Let's get a date on the meeting. That's really all I have to say. To the rest of the council, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there anybody else on the right-hand side of the room that would care to speak? If you would, please state your name and address and sign in for me.
Good evening, James Alexander from Belmont Gardens up in Upper District 2. Wards. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
6.
And you can grab the microphone if you.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you. My name is James Alexander. I'm from Belmont Gardens up in Ward 6. We have a acute problem with both lack of management and maintenance. I've spoken to over a dozen apartment complexes. They all state the minimum requirement is one full-time staff for the office and one full-time staff for maintenance. On a good week, we have half a day from the office. There's absolutely no maintenance whatsoever. When a vendor or contractor pays the property a visit, they're not escorted, and therefore, we're a senior community. As we're aware, there's a lot of crimes against seniors, so I can presume that the management concept is seniors' lives don't matter. We have a heavy infestation of snakes. Their idea is these poison snakes are, what do you want us to do? They have and I had a fine talk with the Deputy Chief of Police this afternoon. It was very productive, where they went into different laws that are questionable. They have a courtesy officer who's not on the Biloxi Police Department, so he has no jurisdiction of any kind. The maintenance, lack of it is causing different problems and hardships. The lack of accessibility to management is causing issues. There's safety issues, and we'd really appreciate if we can get with the Ward 6 or the council and have things adjusted there. Please.
Mr. Alexander, Kenny Glavin is here. He is the councilman for Ward 6, so I'm sure he'd be happy to meet with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments. Do I have anybody else on the right-hand side of the room?
I'm sorry, I went out of line. I apologize. They've also instituted a no parking restriction availability for those who are handicapped. They've taken down all the handicap parking signs and issued a memo that includes, moving forward, management will not be able to provide reserved parking for any reason. Unfortunately, the request has caused a hardship on the property management residents. So they even disregarding the ADA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have anybody on the left-hand side of the room, my right-hand side of the room, that would care to speak? If you would, sir, please come forward, state your name and your address for the record.
Okay. My name is Brian Bounds. I actually live in Ocean Springs, but I wanted to let y'all know of what we offer. I have a company that specializes in biothreat protection, and I've got some flyers here, but I just want to give y'all a little, just in the time frame that we are right now, and I realize I'm not trying to sell anything, but I just want to let y'all know that there's a service that's available that will offer up to 90 days protection on surfaces against microorganisms, viruses, bacteria that will,
Mr. Mike, Mr. Leonard, I apologize, but your conversation is carrying up here and it's making it hard for us to understand him. If you guys would take that outside. Thank you. Would you please continue?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And that was probably muffled it too. But so anyway, I have a company. It's called Evo Armor. We're a local company that we offer biothreat protection services. And we can offer up to 90 days protection on surfaces against cross-contamination, against microorganisms, bacteria, viruses. We've already doing some work with City of Goshen, Ocean Springs, University of Southern Mississippi. Got a lot of good things going to be able to help in this pandemic that we're in. I just wanted to let y'all know really about the education of it, and I'm available if anybody wants to talk. I'll leave a couple of, if it's okay for me to leave that, I will leave these right here. And there should be enough for each of the ward members to be able to have, and y'all can contact me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Is there anybody else on the right-hand side of the room that would care to speak? Or your left-hand side of the room? Anyone in the back? There being none, citizens' comments will be concluded. I do have one last thing that I didn't state in my council report, Mr. Mayor. I know we have our public library, Ms. Davis, she's here, and she's expressed some concern about some mold on the exterior of the Market Cherry Library. Is there a way, can Public Works pressure wash that, or do we need to hire a contractor?
We can address that. Yeah.
We can, okay. Thank you. Now we'll move on to policy agenda, ordinance A.
Ordinance to amend Section 9122 of the Code of Ordinances pertaining to garbage collection and disposable fees.
This was originally moved by Team Lawrence Tisdale. Mr. Lawrence, discussion?
Mike, you can, all we did, we put the numbers in now. It's 22 cents increase and 8 cents increase for the, you call it the garbage fee for the landfill. So you're actually adding 30 cents to the 480. So now I